Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back. So, you had to ask where I actually went today? Well, yeah, Long McQuaid, of course. I got rid of my Yamaha 12 channel mixer and actually used it to rent this one for a month because we're going to purchase it. But I want a month to play with it either way, and so we decided to rent it for now. And so this is the Soundcraft Signature 22 mixer. It's not the newer version of it, but still a current selling mixing board nonetheless. I needed something better, bigger of course. I was running out of ports, and also I wanted more features so I could do better and better music recordings, vocally and with music, and behind those vocals. And this thing certainly offers it. It's got a whack load of features to it that are just, some of it's overwhelming. But we have three total low frequency areas, two mids, and of course your treble for your high end. 5 auxiliary ports total, three mains. Okay, so you've got the green ones, these are all your mains, and then you got 2 extras, which these are used for your effects. So you can use 2 effects simultaneously together. So you can have like reverb and a chorus effect on this one, that sort of thing. There's lots of different effects built in over here in the 2 FX levels. Of course, you could always bypass all that stuff and just get like an FX processor and have even more if you wanted to, right? There's always a way to hook stuff in for sure. You got groups 1, 2, 3, and 4, which are great for using for record outs, but you can also pop them into different speakers if you wanted to, because it's preamp signal. So this is a preamp board. It doesn't have an amplifier built in. It's just a pre. So right now, my mains here at the back, the silver canisters here, they're going to the input of my Focusrite box, which goes via USB into my computer. And then these 2 black ones here actually come off for a stereo signal to go to my in-ear monitor system. And I still have groups 3 and 4 that I could use for even 2 more in-ear systems or 1 more in-ear system in stereo. There's many different ways to run in-ear systems. Generally, in-ears run off of auxiliaries, but I don't want to run 2 aux just to get the stereo. So I figured, well, I'll just use the groups, because it's kind of the same sort of way that I had my Yamaha board set up as, because I had group 1 and 2, and then of course you had your record outs and all this jazz. This thing does have USB out as well, which actually does an in and an out apparently, which I've got to do some reading. I did download the manual for this, because this is a used board. It's not brand spanking new. This is why there's no unboxing. It was a used board that had come in, and I actually got it for a steal, because normally this board sells for $1,100 in Canada, and we got it for $6.99. So that was like incredible. And there's not even a mark or a scratch on it anywhere. I started putting down my stickers so I could identify what my channels were. So far I've got my my headset / Boss VE2 vocal pedal, my Beat Buddy, my Katana amp, which I'm using my pedal board as a preamp into my Katana Mark II. I got my drum kit labeled but not plugged in yet, but I do have my sample pad plugged in. Once I get the drum kit plugged in, then my wife's going to actually help me set my levels for my gains on that, because I can't be at one end of the room and see the level meter at the same time and adjust. So I'll get that set up. So we do have limiters on here, among many other features which we're not getting into in this video because I still got to understand some of them. But I wanted to show you guys the board initially and tell you what I do know about it and show you a little bit. So I'm going to fire up my Beat Buddy here. So if you're listening closely to the Beat Buddy, let me just turn it up a little louder. So the sound is actually coming through my Yorkville YSM5 studio monitors that are hooked to the back of the Focusrite box. This way I can listen back to my mix and all that stuff, and my computer goes through all this as well. But we're just going to adjust some settings here. So if you really want to get that bass pumping, you can adjust things. So you can do some pretty crazy stuff with this thing. But for now, we'll just leave them all zeroed. But a lot of extra controls. I only had straight bass, mid, and treble. So now I've got like 3 low frequencies, 2 mids, and 1 high. And it's like, wow, that's like a lot. So I can really dial even my vocals in a lot better now to really get things punching properly. And it's going to be one massive improvement. So once I get things dialed in and I get a mix set up to record, I'm going to actually do a video for you guys with a music video, and we'll see what all we add into it for instrument-wise. Not sure if it'll be guitar and drums with vocals or just guitar and vocals. We'll figure that out. Another feature this thing has is a USB power port. That's for charging like your iPhone, your iPad, or Android devices, right? Be it a phone or a tablet. Anything that's actually USB rechargeable, apparently. And of course, it also subs out, instead of using it as a charger, you can get a USB light, which we're going to order from Amazon. I want a light over the board because this thing is kind of dumb and it runs on AA's. But I want to be able to light up the board properly. And I looked at board lights. They do have the XLR style ones, but I don't have an XLR light port. They've given us USB, which they say runs a light, or you can charge with it. It does have phantom power as well on the board. 2 headphone level control, of course, if you're going to listen back through headphones. The 5 aux ports are up in here. Your record out section as well, which is, there's so much on this thing. It can be a little overwhelming and a little intimidating at first. I know it has been a little bit for me because I was reading the manual. I'm like, yeah, okay, this is like, nah, it's a no-brainer. But there are things you do actually need to learn. And from transferring what knowledge I do have of many different boards I've worked with, and I've worked a little bit with our one at the church, which is a 32-channel Yamaha, which has got some really cool stuff on it. But apparently this thing actually has some features we don't have on the other one, like the 3 bass controls. We only have 2 on that one. But anyways, so loads of features in this thing. It's got pre and post switching, just all kinds of things to still learn. The sliders are all 100mm sliders, okay, which is actually quite nice. So you've got lots of range to work with there. I'm not even running the master house that high. I really don't need to, because it's going into my USB box, right? And I listen through everything after I record it and check my mix, and then I listen, say, okay, this is what I need to tweak so I can, maybe pull back the beat buddy a little bit, maybe add a little bit more of the katana, maybe I gotta, bring those vocals a little more, right? And if I'm not using the beat buddy and, somebody else is playing drums in here, then we can work out the drum kit and get that all figured out. Now, I have an electronic drum kit. I have an Elysius Nitro Mesh kit, so I can't do the whole thing of separate mics for each thing because it's electronic. If you have an acoustic kit, you can put a mic on each channel that you need for your drums and have that as like your drum section. So, this would be like your kick, tom, your main floor tom. If you have a 4th tom in there, you've got that, and then of course your cymbals and all that jazz, and you can run a complete acoustic kit right through the whole board. I mean, there's plenty of space to run everything that you could probably think of through here. And if you don't want to use the effects here and you need 2 more aux ports, the 5 plugins are there, and these are your remaining auxes 4 and 5, which is nice. And so anyways, I was tearing down my board today anyways to clean up wiring and a mess, and I wanted to prep ahead of time just in case I did get this thing a little earlier than what I had expected, which I did, which worked out with the size of the desk, because now I got to take this desk off for sale, because I had this for sale on Marketplace, this table. It was my old computer desk, and I was measuring things up, and it's like, yeah, okay, so, and it just fits. Like, I've got literally maybe a half an inch here at the back. Like the feet are underneath it, no, without any problem. But the actual back of the mixing board, there's about a half an inch of space there, and it comes up flush with the front of the glass. And the width was just enough. I still had enough room to actually pop on my headset box. So let me just turn this a bit. So my Sennheiser box for my headset, and the box in the back is for my in-ears. Just enough room on this table for everything. And it was like, wow, like that was really cutting her close, you know. And so I'm like, that's pretty awesome. So this works out just beautiful. Now I may not need all 32 channels in here, and I'm more than sure I don't. But at least there's some stuff now that I can plug in here that I couldn't before on my other board, because that board was stuffed, right? And then of course I've got all the extra features and the extra control over my EQ, which is nice. And it does have a lot of cool effects built into it for the reverb, delay, and modulation effects that I can go through and use, and that is just outright awesome. And of course you do have master auxes on the far side of the board, and just all kinds, panning control, the whole nine. Now, being that I'm an in-room studio here by myselfie, or when I have a couple friends in here, you know, we can cut an entire song in one track. Do our mix, do the recording, you know, play it back, see where we need to change certain levels, and then go ahead and do our recording of our final mix. So we can do everything in one track, which does save doing one track at a time through a DAW. You know, and it's like, now I can just do everything into the DAW in one track only, or I can just use QuickTime for the audio in if I'm just doing audio, or I can do video and audio through QuickTime using the built-in camera on my Mac, which I'm thinking I might upgrade my camera next on my Mac and put like a 1080p or a 4K camera on it, and they give me much better picture quality too, you know. But we'll have to see what happens with that. But for now, it's enough to get this thing, start learning it, and get it worked out, and we'll start doing some audio videos and seeing how that works. The other reason I wanted a bigger mixer too is I want to start teaching mixing board audio courses, and especially around this area where I live, to help people out that may not be sure about, you know, are they doing the right thing, and, you know, how do they make things better. And, you know, I've been running mixing boards since I was literally a teenager, you know, so I've got better than 30, we're talking about 35, about 36, 37 years working with audio equipment. Everything from the old antique Radio Shack stuff right on up. So the learning curve on this won't be that bad for me. I'll actually get this board figured out rather quickly. So I'm not going to teach anybody anything until I have it figured out. But it won't be so bad, because most of it I know, and it's very straightforward. It's just a matter of dialing in a few things and figuring some other things out. And I want to try out these limiters here and some other features we got on the board. You know, and I want to check out that pre-post gain switching area and see how that's going to work out. But anyway, so that's our Soundcraft Signature 22. Now, I think it was a steal for $700. You know, being the thing is basically brand spanking new. You know, I've saved a lot of money. You know, $1,100 to buy it brand new, and the box is kind of like, I would have done it either way. You know, because I was looking at Yamaha boards as well, and for what Yamaha has compared to this, there's a lot of stuff I would not be getting in the Yamaha, and I would actually be paying a lot more money. You know, so, and Soundcraft's got a good name in the business too, and nothing against Yamaha, I love their stuff. But you know, I mean, you do pay sometimes a lot for a name, right? But in comparison to other 32 channel boards, this one kind of won us over, and it's going to do anything that I'll ever need or want to do, and, you know, type of thing. And I can do professional recordings with it, which is even better. You know, I've got the abilities to do it with this, so that's cool. So anyways, guys, in the meantime, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more on this thing. The next music video you hear on my channel where I do music will actually have been done through this board, so you get an idea of how much more this thing enhances stuff. So what I'll probably do is maybe one of the other songs I've done before on my channel, so that you can have a comparison to look at between the two videos and listen to the difference in quality, you know, and I'm sure that it's going to be a huge night and day difference. But we'll see how well it actually does go, because I really needed the extra controls, especially over the EQ side. You know, that is a lot more helpful to really clean things up. But anyways, in the meantime, we'll catch you guys on the next one, and see ya.